What is it wanting to
telling
do?
me to rotate it.
I guess it doesn't matter. All right, cool. So,
where are you though?
I'm not in it. Let's
Oh no.
get a little. All right.
There we go.
So let's see if this works. We're all in. We're all good.
I think
All
we're
right.
good.
All right. So I just want to welcome everybody real quick. As you guys know, we are focusing on Women Empowerment Month this month. So if you don't know who we are, we're Yes Love OKC, right there. And I'm Albert Rios. I'm the executive director of Yes Love OKC. We have with us today our special guest, Miss Amanda Fott. And would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Mike. I'm the president for Yes Love OKC.
Yes. So we'll go with Amy for short. Amy, tell us a little bit about what you do and kind of who you are.
Well, I am a graduate of practical nursing from the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. I am also a student at for occupational therapy assisting. Got about a year to go in that, and I don't know, what else would you like to know about me?
Well,
Doer of a lot of stuff,
yeah.
I guess.
Real quick, just to kind of break the ice, some fun little options we're going to throw at you, are you more of a pizza or burger type of girl?
Mm-hmm. I don't think I can answer this one.
Yeah.
That's really hard. I think I'm gonna go with. I think I could pass up a pizza, but I'm not really sure if I could pass up a good hamburger.
Wow. How about a burger pizza?
They do have
Best of both
hamburger
worlds.
pizza.
Hamburger pizza, yeah.
Which cheeseburger flavored pizza is my favorite? So.
Oh goodness! Oh my gosh.
So, all right, next one: pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
Neither. I like apple pie only.
Oh, pumpkin is my favorite.
All right. Cruella de Vil versus Evil Queen.
Oh, I love Cruella de Vil. She's fun.
All right. That one's yours.
Okay. So I love horror movies. Scream, or I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Maybe I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was pretty good.
That was. I still need to watch that this year for my Halloween marathon. Do you want to?
I think we can move on, right?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of takes us into this question anyway. So, Halloween costume thoughts. Like the Handmaidens, no?
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about that if you guys wanted to, because this is something that one of my friends was talking about the other day. She goes, Amy, you are the only girl I know who refuses to dress up as a slutty anything for Halloween. And I don't know what your question was on that. I guess that what you were trying to say is that...
I was going to say, talk about, you know the show Handmaidens?
Well, he was explaining, I haven't actually watched that, but now I want to, now that he's told me about it. But he was explaining to me about what it is about and what's going on with it and how that deals with women's issues. And he wanted my thoughts on like a sexy version of a Handmaid's Tale costume.
We can talk about any of them, really. Like, we tend to sexualize a lot of things.
We do.
So yeah, just kind of now. It is Halloween time frame.
Honestly, what's so sad is that we have to like resort to stuff like that just so a female can be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to like put that as one point in time of the year, and why does it have to be so exaggerated at that? I haven't really ever understood that. I was always the girl that wanted to dump a bunch of blood all over myself, or you know what I like to do.
Amy's really good at Halloween makeup, and she doesn't need to be sexy to feel good. Empowered, yes. Yeah. But and it's funny because I've always. I love Mean Girls, and the big thing, it's the one time a year you can dress like a slut and no one says anything. And I'm like, let's look at this statement. Like, why is that? Because, you have, if you have the firefighter for men, it's, you know, the firefighter with the chest coming out, you know, very like
Very
super
masculine.
and then you have like a female firefighter. She's like the short skirt and like I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? That's kind of like, why do we need to do that?
Well, I think the whole reason why women and sexuality is a very, very, very hard thing for a lot of people to sort of understand. It's one and the same, really, just as it's one and the same with a male. You don't have to separate the two. So I think what the question is trying to ask is, does it cheapen the idea of what that character went through in the movie? And I think, well, the point of the movie is what she had to do, I guess, to escape her situation. I don't know the ending of the movie or anything like that. I really don't know a whole lot about it except for generalities, but I think I would put it like this. Like, I would never wear a sexy nurse costume. Why? Because that cheapens my profession. I don't go to work to be sexy. I go to work to care for people. That's what I do. And I think, is that feminine? Well, yes, but it's also very masculine because there are male nurses out there who are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can be both, but you don't have to show skin to be that. I guess if you wanted to, that's fine. My costume this year, even though I am going to have a whole bunch of stuff going on, I'm going to have, you know, an opening on my face and some stitches and some blood and probably some bruising and stuff. It's going to be so much fun. But, you know, the costume that I have is like a leotard, almost like a long sleeve leotard. It's tight. And I'm not too worried about running around in it. So, I mean, you're going to be able to see my entire silhouette. It's not completely, I don't know what you would call that.
G-rated.
Right. Thank you. So you can do both, but I think that the whole point is that there's so much more to women than their sexuality. And personally, I've always prized what I knew more than what I looked like. Maybe that's just because where I come from, you know.
Well, and I think it's safe to say, you know, that girls, women, it's okay to be bloody. It's okay to not be the sexy mouse or whatever you want to be.
It doesn't detract from your attractiveness overall, because really it's a Halloween costume.
But I mean,
you don't look like this every day.
On the flip side, don't you think that it's okay to embrace it too?
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, you know, as long as it's, you know, I don't necessarily agree with this because I don't want to.
I think I think you should be able to dress however you want. A sexy handmaiden, as far as this is concerned, I think kind of misses the point, you know. And so.
But you talked about the nurses, you know, like you're saying you would never dress, but what if you saw somebody else, like, you know.
Would I say something about it?
Yeah. Does it bother you? Do you feel that they're downing your profession?
I'm pretty secure in my profession and what I do. So, I mean, it's not really one of those situations. I'm not going to go up to a girl that I see on the street who is totally enjoying her right to bear all goods, show the cookies. But, you know, I don't feel like that's something that I want to do. But, yeah, girl, go, more power to you.
Well, you know, and like one thing that we've talked about and we were talking about earlier is in society there's this constant argument, and I think that a lot of people want to point out, you know, like Christina Aguilera, you know, she went from being this like teeny bopper, innocent genie in a bottle, and then went through her dirty phase and was wearing assless chaps, and people were like upset, calling MTV saying like, you know, turn that off, ban the video, but like her whole argument is women are doing this in rappers' videos. You know, they're half naked, but it's okay for that. But when a woman is the center, she's the main one doing it. There's a controversy, you know, and so, you know, going back to kind of what Mike was saying is like the whole empowerment. Like, people oftentimes don't see that as empowerment. Kind of, what are your thoughts on women embracing that and using that as empowerment?
I think that whether you are in show business or not, girls and young women go through a phase where they start to explore their own sexuality just like men do. And we start to learn what we like and what turns us on. I think, probably at some point we're turning ourselves on before we're trying to turn anybody else on. We all go through that, whether it's being televised or recorded or anything else. I think that's a natural part of human development. And I think that, if I can remember correctly, because Christina Aguilera's thing was quite some time ago, but I know you love her, I'm sorry. But I remember it was a lot of adults who were afraid that their young girls or young boys were going to see this and try to emulate what was going on. I think Britney Spears was kind of a part of that sort of thing too. But the thing is that whether they saw it on TV or not, they're going to start to explore that, because that's just, people go through developmental stages, and they go through them in a fixed sequence, and they go through them generally in order, and you're going to go through that. That's a part of your adolescence, and very young adulthood is learning about your role and who you are and your own sexuality, your sexual orientation. That is your developmental task for that specific time frame. So whether they were seeing it on TV or not, you're going through it anyway. I don't think it's abnormal at all. No. I think I might have gotten off the point of the question. I'm so sorry.
That hits right on the point. I mean, because you're right, because at some point people do go through that, whether you are male or female. And I think in her case, she was turning 21. I mean, she's a little older, I think, than what we see nowadays. It's like,
I'm just gonna say, even at 21, when I was allowed to go to the bars on Halloween, I think I went in a full-fledged, got from the thrift store wedding dress, and I was like a bride that got into a very bad car accident. I don't think I made it.
Isn't it Heidi Klum that really gets into Halloween?
I think so. And everybody else in that club was just, I was not, and the boyfriend that I had at the time was totally ashamed of being with me because I wasn't dressed in that way. He didn't want to be around me. I wasn't very pretty and stuff like that. And I'm just going, I'm having a blast. What's wrong with you?
Well, and I definitely, you say that and I laugh because, I just picture Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan was the only one that showed up scary to Halloween. Everyone's all right, it's Halloween party. And, she was homeschooled. So, she's like, oh, cool, Halloween, I'm going to get blood and be a dead zombie bride or something. Everyone's like, why are you so scary? She's like, it's Halloween,
You're supposed to be scary.
I think that's, I get the idea of that, but I don't know. I'm 41 years old, and I don't remember when I was a kid there ever being any kind of really, maybe a Catwoman.
Right.
Maybe a Playboy bunny. I remember seeing those when I was a kid. That's obviously a different time, but, I don't ever remember, especially when you talk about, the younger kids, ever really getting... you never it was always ghosts and goblins and Power Rangers.
Hadn't really become sexualized.
Yeah,
I don't know when it did, but at some point it did, because you can go on Amazon and see it all.
Right. Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Sexy flapper girl.
Yeah. Well,
good time girl.
Sexy Chucky doll. I'm like, sexy Freddy Krueger. I'm like,
I was sending them some of them, and I was
really?
why did they come up?
I guess that's scary. I don't know if there was a sexy Chucky looking thing coming at me, I would freak out.
I actually have a picture and to show you later.
I would sacrifice my coffee to get away from it.
I have a picture. Well, I'll show you. We'll see what your thoughts are on that. But tell us 3 women that you look up to.
Anybody in your life?
Well, they're going to be people that I know for sure, because those are the people that have most influenced me. But I'm going to say my mom, my granny, And, I'm going to have to say my stepmom, Sandra, she's really, really amazing. But just about every single woman that I have encountered in my life has introduced a perspective about getting through things at a very unsure point in their life that I really admire. And so, but as far as the three is concerned, I'd say my mom, my granny, and my stepmom are all pretty influential.
Can you elaborate how they're not only influential, but maybe even kind of empowered you to be where you are today?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, my mom, she raised us mostly on her own. She went through school, and some of the things that we used to do whenever I was growing up is probably like go rock climbing, or this is going to sound so weird. I mean, we would go spelunking. My mom did not play dress up, y'all. I mean, when I was really young, like I would try to get her to play with me like that. She didn't know how to play with dolls. She hated it when I tried to play with her hair. She ain't trying to do makeup. No, thank you. But I will wrestle with you. I will teach you how to fight. Come work on this car with me. I mean, we changed a rack and pinion in my driveway when I was 16
I don't even know what that is. So I'm like, what is that?
I mean,
It's a steering mechanism.
you need it for the car to go.
I'm going to come for you when I need that change.
But, I mean, these are the kind of things that my mom brought to the picture whenever I was growing up. And so I didn't really have a traditional view of what a female is anyway, because my mom she was such a tomboy. She did it all. And she was just...
I admire that, actually.
It is extremely powerful and admirable.
She didn't stay with the common stigmas.
She didn't rely on anybody to get done what she needed to have done. And I think that's probably the big takeaway there, is that people tell you your whole life that if you want something, you have to go get it. It does not get handed to you. You have to work for that. Well, my mom, in very, very many ways, was a huge example of that. If you want something, you have to do it yourself. You don't get to point or ask or whatever, you do that on your own. And so that was, not that it's bad to ask for help. It's not like that. But, that was a really big deal coming from her. And my mom is like Zorba the Greek, y'all. She enjoys life as it is in the here and now, you could take her out doing anything. I took her out hiking to, the Bootleggers Caverns out in northwestern Arkansas not too long ago, and she had a blast. I mean, she's still doing that. Go mom, you know?
What about your grandmother?
My grandmother passed away not too long ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, I mean, me too. She is amazing. My grandmother actually kind of brought in that strength and the femininity that was sort of maybe lacking from my mom. So she found it to be extremely important for me to be very well read, for me to have an education. I mean, books. I would be flying back and forth from Oklahoma City to Florida, and I would have like this many books. I'd probably read about half of them before I got there. But I mean, it was reading, the arts. She just wanted me to know all of this stuff, and she even took me to like Queen Anne's to learn how to eat with actual silverware, y'all. I mean, like, I'm in Florida with a crab pot and we're eating with our hands and, but no, she wanted me to be a lady. And she also wanted me to learn and to use my mind. And that was extremely important to her, is developing that aspect of myself. And I don't know, just developing other aspects of yourself, I guess. She wanted me to know it all, and she's just amazing in that way. She was a she was a teacher for Oklahoma City for a really long time. She taught at Northwest Classen for a while, and she taught at some elementary schools for a while. There are a few women in my family that are teachers, which I'm just going to brag about that for a minute. Go teachers.
So then how does your stepmom tie into all of it?
My stepmom is, man, that woman, there is not anything that I don't think she can do. First off, she tamed my father, which I didn't think could ever happen. I don't know how that happened. But when they got married, it was in a particular period of my life where I was going through a lot of things. I was really young adult, and I was dealing with some stuff. And she handled that with such finesse and patience. And if she ever resented me at all in any way, she kept that away from me, which I think helped really foster our relationship, where I paid attention to how she did things. This woman can take care of anyone, and she will take care of anyone. Not only that, when she's done taking care of everything, she will turn around and tear down parts of the house that she probably shouldn't, because by damn it, she's going to get it done. So, that's just kind of another one of those personalities that have always sort of been in my life, that have always really influenced me, and I absolutely love her and adore her. Her birthday is 2 days before mine, so happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
So
yes, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up on the 20th.
So I know when I first met you, and I assumed that between these three women, not only just these three women, but I'm sure you have other influential women, but these are the ones that come to your first forefront.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot where I was going with my point.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it might. I knew where it was going, and now I forgot. Man.
When you first met Amy.
Yes. You did exude an extreme confidence from you. I'm sure it's through your own experiences too, just through the natural progression of life. But how do you feel? Maybe between a combination of those three that got you to where you are now. Like, how do you feel that they influenced you to be where you are right now, and trying to go for a transition here?
I see what you're saying. I think as far as where the confidence is concerned, I think a lot of that came from my granny herself. She always really enjoyed my company, and I was always entertaining to her. I could always make her laugh. She always would just sit here just like this.
My grandma does
and
the same
she
thing.
wants to know she'd just say, okay, so what's new? And she'd want to know. And I would sit there and tell her all this stuff, and she'd just be so tickled about a lot of it. Or if things were going complete crap ass, she would sit there and she would listen to what I had to say, because it was important to her. And I guess I just started getting it into my head that what I had to say was important, because it stuck. And I don't think it ever went away. So thank you, Granny. You're amazing. Was that kind of where you were going with that? Okay.
Yeah. And that combination of, because it's not easy out there at all.
No.
And I struggled with, confidence for many years. My ex-wife beat me down, literally, physically, and mentally. And I wasn't in a spot, and I had, from my own mom, when my mom passed, it sounds kind of weird, but I've probably drawn more inspiration since my mom has passed, of the memories that have clicked into my mind, that have given me confidence,
Right.
To do what I'm doing now.
Right.
So, I completely understand, how influential someone could be, and God rest her soul. She's hanging out somewhere going, that. But,
That's my boy.
Yeah, that's right. You guys have met me, and I think I exude a lot of confidence, and
Oh, yeah.
very, very versed in myself. A lot of it comes from my mom, in that my mom constantly, so the fact that you had, and my grandmother too. So the fact that you had these, three powerful women that were really introducing you to empower yourself, is amazing.
The triad of power.
All they have to do is plant the seeds, and man, those seeds can really take off. So I'm lucky to have had those influences, most definitely.
Well, and I think, and speaking to some of what you guys are saying, like, my mom has been, like, probably the biggest influencer in me growing up. I see her work ethic, I see everything she does, and, like, she's always tried to do better for us. So I think that's what I put in my own mind, is, like, do better for others, and I think so. Mothers are important. I think we can definitely, their impact is with us forever, so I think that's really important to clarify. So all the moms out there,
thank you.
We love you
we
so
love
much.
you. So, yes.
So, and with that, like, I don't know, did you have any particular other, like, hardships with that? Because what is it called? I'm sorry, I forgot the name. I totally forgot.
Are you talking about my skin condition?
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh.
I was trying to get the name in my head,
Vitiligo.
Okay.
and I feel that, yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
like, real
Because,
quick,
like, go ahead.
one of the important reasons why I wanted to bring you here, we kind of talked at the film, on the set of the film the other day. I've known you for a while, and, like, I think I've seen you very confident, and I think that we were kind of talking about, like, how growing up, because you introduced me to actually vitiligo, and you explained it to me when I first met you, because I saw it growing up. There's that model that has it, but I don't have education. So if you don't ask, you don't know someone, and you don't learn. And I think that this is a perfect opportunity to kind of go into that. And
Right. Well, it's so visually intriguing. It's hard to not see it, but then it has something to do with somebody else, and so people get really scared about asking. And that's something that I think most people with vitiligo have, especially if they're at my age, and I'm 36 this month, y'all. So, yeah. But
You're the baby.
thank you. This baby's gonna be going skydiving on the 27th. I'm so excited.
Don't die.
yeah, I was like, that's scary. I'm not sure I'm down.
Well, and you've had it your whole life, correct?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I started to develop vitiligo when I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
And if you want, I can tell you guys what
Yeah,
it is.
just tell us.
What it is.
Please tell us.
Share with everybody.
What vitiligo is, it's an autoimmune disorder that causes the body to attack its own pigment cells, which are called melanocytes. And eventually, I'll take off my watch, because, well, you might be able to see it on this hand. Eventually, you'll start seeing... this is where I'm tan, and this is where there's no color at all whatsoever. I've probably got about 5 different shades of color on me between everything. And they're at various degrees of deterioration, but basically I have what they would call non-segmental, which means it's on both sides of my body, usually in a symmetrical sort of pattern. So I have it on both hands, both forearms. I have it pretty much everywhere I sweat, symmetrically, all over my body.
Okay.
Anyway, they also have segmental, which generally develops, not always, but generally develops when someone is a bit older, maybe after their teens, maybe even way older than that, like near my age, they start developing something.
But you developed yours at 5, right?
Yeah, and they don't really know what causes it. They used to say it was a hereditary thing. That's not necessarily true. I think that they've identified somewhere around 36 types of alleles, maybe you would call them. Gosh, I am not the scientist here. But
Now
they've
you are.
developed, they've discovered about 36 different genes that kind of carry the code for that to go awry. And so there's a lot of different things that they think could cause it. A lot of times they think that you just have a general susceptibility